Hello, and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I am Dustin. We're going to look at one of the most active stocks that exist on Yahoo Finance today. What's today, the 6th of January, 2025? Wow, here we are. Let's see. Let's look at Lucid real quick. Lucid's always an interesting one because these car companies, they're always, especially when there's like catalysts in the big market, you know what I mean? When the actual overall market is moving and not just individual stocks, when you're getting broader participation, when more people are able to participate in what is the money-making machine of the world stock market of because this is not making money. I'm sorry to say it. I do not think that Lucid is like a profitable company. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. But the most valuable thing that they probably have right now is this stock. If we look, things have been interesting as of late. I mean, $3.33. First off, this is under $5. I'm not even gonna take this as a serious idea for right now. But I do want to say that the moves that we're seeing are very indicative of some explosive kind of move. The only thing I'd say that's kind of bad is that it's still negative, but probably nearly about to reverse on the 3 month. On the 6 month, it's down bad. Okay, like we got to admit that down bad. But where we are, yeah, where we are right now, if we can flip above this would actually be really nice. And I think this is going to be a flip that's going to mean that you're going to be continually rolling positive on the rolling return for the 3 month. The reason why I think that's important is, I mean, just look, the way that I look at this data, the way that I see it is if you don't look at it as just the chart and you see it for the relative like derivatives, which are like the things that you can make out of itself, I think that there's a very strong argument to say that you want to be paying attention to rolling returns. Like, and I don't think enough people do. More people look at the chart. I think looking at the chart, like a chart, so you got a chart. Everybody got a chart. It's like, what are you able to do with the data that you have? I mean, you can't just look at it. You got to investigate it. I think that this is the much more prudent way of investigating. But everyone is different. I think that if you can build signals where you can see that there's a long term, short term, intermediate trend, bullishness for the trend indicator. I mean, if you can show like this, I find to be this is rolling sentiment where things have gotten out of hand here in Lucid. And the reason I say that, just to be honest, is because this is supposed to be a representation of the entire market. So 100% bullishness or bearishness. Right now, we are at like intoxicating heights. Like there is no oxygen up where we are. Like at 68% this thing tops out at usually around 70% or 60%, excuse me. Usually bottoms out around 40. It can get extreme. You see a 67%, that's extreme. That is an extreme amount of bullishness because like you're at the place where how many more buyers do you think there can be for this little car company? Maybe, maybe. I mean, when I look at the volume looks insane. I will say it like that, but like we don't see volume like we saw in December. You know what I mean? Like the fifth, sixth, and ninth, we were up over 100 and what looks like 25 million shares. That's great. We had another 129 there, 130 there, but these aren't like so this is about the explosion of volume versus the 10-day rolling average, which I will say it is interesting. It is interesting if you investigate the data the way that I am right here. If you look at it back on the 29th, you had a absolute like volume drop. I don't know what that was, but that was a ridiculous day of volume. Incredibly low and just like out of nowhere. But that was the beginning of the end. Like that was the bottom. Like that's actually what you're talking about when I'm talking about like who's gonna buy, is that was an example of like who is gonna sell? Like why wouldn't you buy at this price? So if we see the returns that we've seen since pretty much around that moment, I guess, if you're going to be honest, like right before this is the lowest day. If I look at where my bullishness is, just where my trend indicator is, I saw a complete reversal on this one day. So 213 for some reason. I mean, it was the 5-day rolling return had finally really kind of flipped, but we were still very negative. We were down bad. We were down very bad. But it looks like things have really just turned over a new leaf here. Let's look at the actual chart. Let's see. Yeah, the daily sentiment. I mean, still really, this is a wild boy. 69% on the 30th. Wow. I mean, here we go, Lucid. Something is back. Are we getting like, I don't know what is happening. Was there news? I don't pay attention to the story. Ooh, see, if you watch my previous videos, if you watch the plug or you watch the video when I talk specifically about the volatility, this drop in volatility and then the reversal where you're getting the correlation going positive with a big breakout, huge. That is huge. That isn't a big spike. It just is relative to the other spikes of volume or volatility, excuse me, because this is a penny stock. So that's why it has very small things because you can I mean, yeah, you can go up 100%, you can go from 3 to 6, but like 6 to 12. Like it takes twice as much money. It's a like the price got down to $4 for a reason. You know what I mean? So yeah. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? Before you go, subscribe to the New Head newsletter. It gets